we treat our dogs and our animals better than we do our body. And even when like we're sick or we're down or we're going through an injury, our body is still doing the very best it can. And it is forever loyal to us. No matter what we do, how we abuse it, how we speak to it, it is doing the best it can. And it is so loyal to us. Show it that same type of reverence and loyalty.
Welcome to the Growth Life Podcast, where we celebrate individuals and their stories about moments where they were courageous enough to embrace uncertainty, brave enough to love diversity, and smart enough to realize that they don't know everything. The Growth Life Podcast shares stories of growth in all areas: careers, mindset, relationships, wealth, and health.
Are you having fun?
I'm having a blast. All right, listeners, welcome back to the show. We are talking about what it means to really be in the growth life. So what does that mean? Just in case you need a reminder or you're new to the show, what it means is that we are really being courageous enough to embrace uncertainty, because growth, everything that we want that's good in life comes from growth. And that requires this idea that you're going to move through uncertainty in every area. We embrace that. We're brave enough to love diversity because there is no one right way. There's no one strategy. It's infinite. There's so many. And we also really embrace this concept that we're always learning, we're always evolving, and this idea that we are students. We really want to recognize that there's another level waiting for us, whether it be in our health, our fitness, our emotions, the way we think, our spiritual life. I mean, there's so much, and it's just this constant journey. So I'm really thrilled to have this amazing woman who looks like she's in the rainforest right now. Where are you anyway?
I am. Costa Rica, Nosara.
Amazing. I bet that's incredible.
Stunning.
You look like you were born in the rainforest.
I'm being reborn in it, that's for sure.
Oh, all right. No, if that's not a clue. So I really wanted to invite Casey Plouffe on. She's just an incredible woman. And, we want to focus on well-being and this idea that, especially Casey, knowing what I know about you, that this started at such a young age for you, because you actually, back in the day in your former life, you were a registered nurse. So you already kind of had this idea of caretaking and self-care and well-being, but you really took it to a whole nother level in, I would say, the last 10 years or so when you switched gears. So I want to talk about that bio a little bit, so everybody that's listening has a good idea or a better idea of just your background and what you're bringing to this show today. Sound good?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to share. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah,
good?
You sound great. Let me share a little bit about your bio though, okay? All right,
okay.
So Casey leads this very successful organization called Have It All. She's the CEO, but she doesn't really like that terminology and that title. So she changed all her titles to basically some massively fun ones. So she's the Chief Breath Officer of her company. She's the Chief Feel-Good Officer of her company. And she's the Chief Fun Officer of her company. So she wears a lot of hats. They're all really, really important and corporate, aren't they?
Extremely.
So she is focused on helping people transform in every area of their life. She's also a best-selling author of the Journey of Riches anthology. And she is really one of those people that does it her way and really inspires people in a different way around this concept of just creating where you have to enjoy what you're doing, or what's the point? So without me getting too much into it, let's just hear from Casey and her very interesting, fascinating, brilliant way of life and really operating. And so from that, Casey, I want to just dive right in and say, why are you the Chief Breath Officer? And I just kind of want to go through like each of these titles and give us just a little snippet.
Yeah.
Tell yourself this.
Well, Tanya, thank you for having me on here, girl. You're my girl. Oh my gosh, when you have fun with what you do, you really just align with people that become your best friends and just mentors. And so I love you and just excited to be here. And Yeah, chief breath officer. Breathing is life, right? It's the life force of everything. I mean, you can go, my gosh, months without food, days without water, but just minutes without oxygen, and it's a resetter, for sure. And so when I found breathing, everything in my life changed, and it seems so seems so simple. I remember I was working with a business coach early on in my when I shifted from nursing to network marketing, and it was, you need to learn how to breathe. And I'm like, what's this man talking about? Like, I'm breathing every day. And then I truly found intentional breathing, and it just allowed clarity. It allowed me to feel good. It just recentered me, reset me. And so I'm actually down here doing breath work in the jungle, Masara, Costa Rica, and it's a breath facilitator. And so for 3 days, I mean, we just were immersed in intentional breath, and it allows me to really just gain so much clarity, and to then align with that and to manifest at very, very high levels. I think of breath as every single time I inhale, right? Inspire, to be in spirit. So I'm inspiring light, like I'm in spirit when I take in oxygen. And then it's a communion every time I breathe out, can be just my communion and appreciation and grace back to God. So it's become really it doesn't even have to be in a set meditation, or you don't have to be in the jungle to do it. It's just resetting every single moment that you want to. So it's the greatest gift that we have. And how often do we take it for granted, this precious thing called life through breath? So I remind people to breathe. I want my whole team is like, okay, so she's doing her breathing thing. She's talking about breathing again. Because it's wellness. It's wellness on every level. It will enhance every area of your life if you apply intentional breathing. Promise. Guarantee. 100%.
We can end the podcast now, right?
For sure. Let's go breathe.
I know, I kind of have chills just listening to that. I mean, it's such a valuable nugget when we talk about health and wellness. And the fact that you even gave yourself, I think that's your first title that you listed that you're the chief breath officer, and that is what you stand for. And that's the reminder you continue to give your team, and that you're sharing on this podcast. And I know we're grateful to be reminded of that. So taking a deep breath in, tell us how that weaves into being the chief feel-good officer of your organization.
Well, I mean, I want to feel good, right? I imagine if you're listening to this call, especially on well-being, wellness, right? We want to feel good. And I've just really connected with the fact that the whole reason why we strive, right? The whole reason why we're creating things, the whole reason why we're in a relationship with ourselves, doing self-care, self-love, whatever it is, the whole reason why we're doing something is because we think that doing that is going to make us feel better. Period, right? We want to feel good. I'm a run towards pleasure kind of girl. That's it. I mean, essentially, are you feeling good? Like, how do you feel about that? Like, are you in alignment with you? Like, you can check in with your feelings. And if I'm feeling good, I know that I'm, and excited, even if it's like a fearful feeling, but I can feel good and excited about getting through that, like checking in with how I feel and redirecting it to a positive force and way, and looking at it. Or if it's not, then okay, redirecting. So it's become my internal guidance system, the God programming system, my GPS. And so I have to be aware of that. And so, yeah, I want to feel good. It's why we do things. So I think being aware of that and asking yourself those questions and checking in with that, I mean, is critical. So yeah, you're, running an organization, my gosh, you gotta be feeling good. And when you feel good, you can pour out more. Like, if I feel good, I can serve more. So why would that not be my number one priority? Because I cannot pour from an empty cup, period. I cannot. So cuppeth runneth over.
Yeah, that's so good. And I remember listening to a talk. We were both in the same place together at one of the retreats, the amazing retreats from Have It All. And one of the things that was so awesome and shared by Alex, we love him, was this idea that we're all striving and that we're all looking to be successful in different ways in different areas of our life. And then the constant question, which leads me to your next title, which is your chief fun officer of your organization.
Yeah.
Why should we do anything in life if it's not fun, if we're not having fun, right? Like, what's the point?
What is the point? and you can make anything fun. Like if, Richard Branson too, I've read some of his books and biographies, and it's like, he finds a way to make it fun. Like if he has to do it too. And I mean, you look at his success, right? And and you said it beautifully. You were like, fun gets more done. And I'm like, fun does get more done, because I know when I'm having fun, I'm feeling good, I'm in the flow. Like I want to go, 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 do, do, do. It's like it attracts this whole energy to you. I mean, people are, can be stuck in a rut sometimes too, of going through, like I call it Groundhog Day, just day and day and day out. It's like they've lost that idea that things can be fun, or that you think you have to be a little kid in order to play or have fun. And, when you start adulting, fun has to go out of your life. Like, no, it does not. Like as an adult, I get to make a choice about whatever I do. As a kid, I kind of got told what I had to do sometimes. And now as an adult, like I ain't wasting that freedom of being able to make a choice. So fun, you guys, if you can find a way to make it fun. Yes, I was in Hawaii, and this woman was speaking. She was probably in her 70s. And she's in the Ministry of Fun. And she has like this Infinity 8 that she gets at, and she like draws it around her forehead. And it's like, if it's not fun, don't do it. If you have to do it, find a way to make it fun, like, period. And I was like, yeah, she's the Ministry of Fun. She goes around, and like, that's her business card. I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. That is so great. Let's keep having some fun here. I want to keep it real at the same time, in the sense that I know people are struggling out there. There are people that are moving through a phase of life or a season of life where they're not in the best of health, or they're not where they want to be, or they're not feeling that high of energy, or they're not feeling good, or think it's not fun. It really does. It's difficult to switch into those things that you were just talking about. So I know there's some things you went through in your transformation in your life that really showed you what it takes to get to the other side of that, if you will. Can you share a little bit with the audience about what you've gone through, especially during those really uncertain times?
Yeah. So it was a pattern. The most that I can say of like really just being in a low place for me is when I've dealt with physical injury of my back particularly. And I was in my build mode in my business, and my body just completely, gave out on me. Like, I mean, bedridden, and just, oh my gosh, I got so depressed, and then even trying to go through healing with it. And then, pain pills and drinking, just trying to numb like pain, and then feeling like a failure, and just, all these things. So I think we all go through those things. I mean, the cracks let the light in though, right? And that was probably like the lowest point that I can remember for myself. But, throughout growing up, and I mean, I was a dancer for, about almost 8 years, like 7 years of my life, like in clubs, like, going through just experimenting with a lot of things, and then feeling guilty and shameful and all those things about a lot of things too. So, I mean, there's been so many different areas that I can, say that I've gone through and struggled with. We can oftentimes we see the glory of somebody, or where somebody is right now, like, sitting in, they, travel around the world and go to retreats and done all that. But it's like, man, that was a lot of work to pull through to get my life to where it is right now. And, being kind to yourself is the number one thing that I would, probably say is you have to be kind and honoring, of yourself and where you are, and look at yourself like you were as a little child. Going through, whatever it is that you're going through right now, like this innocent little child that's just suffering, right? That is suffering in the moment. And how would you talk to that child? How would you caress that child? How would you encourage? How would you assure that child? And so I ask you to do that for yourself, if you're in that place right now, and just start where you are. And that's the thing, like, start where you are. Like, it doesn't have to be this big quantum leap of, okay, I'm feeling this way, and it goes to complete bliss and joy the next day. It's just that one step at a time, and that's okay. And that's enough, right? Like, just a little progress every single day. And that's why, my gosh, your programs are so amazing, Tanya, is because it's starting where you are, and it's just a little bit each day, and building that consistency of being on the right path and being on that growth. And so, yeah, it's, I just kept a really good community around me too. And what's a better community than this community? I plugged in, just like your phone can die. Your spirit can go, your physical body can go, all of those things can go if we don't plug it in and charge it up. And so I just had to start recharging at every level, and slow down. I had to slow down to speed up. My body, I think, gave out on me because I was just going too much. I let self-care go. I got more obsessed with money. I got more obsessed with the external things, and I lost my inner world some. Like, even after being on the growth journey, finding breathing, like all those things, it's like slowly I let those things slip away. And it was like the world, they were like, all right, here you go, rugs, we're going to pull the rug out underneath you until you reconnect with really what is the most valuable thing. And it was reminding me, like, health is the most valuable thing that I have. What I put in my body, what I energize myself with, what am I eating? What am I listening to? Am I breathing as much? Am I doing yoga? Like, all of those things, it was like I had stopped all the things that allowed me to create at a high level because I got so obsessed with the external. And it's not the end. It's going inward. Your health and vitality is the number one thing that you have. Like, creating something is great, having money is great, all of those things, but having time freedom is great. But if you don't have your health, you can't enjoy any of it at the level that deserves to be enjoyed. And so going through that. So if you're struggling through that, or you have that, just know that, like, it's going to be your greatest gift. It's going to give you awareness. You'll be able to appreciate your health as you're getting it back at a next level. So be excited about that and be looking forward to that, and just really being kind to yourself, and just know that we always get that it's always okay, that it's always going to be okay, and it's going to be worked out, and you have access to infinite possibility. You have access to God, to source. You have access to that. And so pull that in. And if it starts with just some breathing, that's amazing.
Way to come full circle.
Yeah.
It starts with breathing. I love everything you're saying. And I think it's so true that, you learn. It's like, it's not that we don't know. Like, of course it's important to work out and to do yoga and to breathe and to eat better and to treat yourself with respect and kindness. Like, we know these things, but we forget and we get sidetracked. And that leads me to the last question. I think you just never know how things go. The last question around, knowing what I know about you and the success that you have in your life, and knowing that just recently in the last few months, you felt like you had this huge wake up call around your health and your self-care, that you're not invincible. And not that you ever thought that way, but it's like, it kind of could feel that way, right?
For sure.
I would love to hear, like, what does growth mean to you? And how does that translate where somebody who's listening right now could understand the concept as it relates to just their overall, like, well-being in life, their overall, whatever it is that they know, but maybe they're ignoring it, or maybe they're ready, either way, that they need to do, but they haven't done yet. Or they're ready and they just don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn, or they were looking for leverage to do it. Like, what role does growth play in all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. Intention is a word that I've really studied. I've even just created something. It's called Intentional University. Or I'm like, everything has to be intentional universe. So, like, intention. And one of the faces of intention is expansion, right? Like, everything is all expanding. It has to expand, or you're holding it in. Everything. Look at a physical body. A physical body, like, you can't stop a child from growing, right? Like, you have to grow. It's part of life, growth, evolution. And, so thinking about that with expansiveness, like, your soul is ever expanding. It wants to expand. And so if we are not allowing ourselves physically to catch up, our thoughts, our patterns, everything, if we're not allowing that to catch up to that soul expansion, that's when the constriction happens, when things might fall apart around us, is it. And if you're listening to this call, you want growth, period. If you are still on this call at this level, growth is you're ready for it, right? Because there's something inside you that had you click on this podcast, like a growth podcast. right? So you are ready because something's aligning with you, something's connecting with you to where you're like, yes, yes, yes. And it's just fear. It's fear that, of well, what if it doesn't work out? What if it does work out? I want you to ask yourself that question. Like, what if what I want, I can't have? If the answer was yes, what would it be? What would it be for you? And giving yourself that permission to dream, giving yourself permission. What does it look like to live out of my healthiest body, my ideal body? Start writing that. That's why these programs, do this program. Like, what does that look like? Get clear on that. It becomes your essence. You start to feel it. Because if we're not plugging in what we want, then we're just going to be, going places, but with no clarity and no vision, and people without a vision will perish. If you don't have that vision for your body and your health, it will perish. If you put it to the back burner, guess what? It goes to the back burner. And when your well-being is suffering, you guys, every area of your life is going to suffer. If you're a parent, your children are going to miss out on you, right? Your friendships, your spouse, if you have a spouse, when you have well-being in your life, when I put myself first, everybody in my life got put first. My team, like, I used to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm unplugging for them, I'm going to feel guilty. Like, I have a pretty large team and they're all like, sweet, Casey's going off on a personal like growth retreat for a couple weeks, for a month. She's unplugging, she's getting clear, she's getting realigned. When she comes back from doing that, man, she is on freaking fire. And like, we feel it. Like, people get so excited for me. My husband's like, go, babe, go, because I take my self-care. So it's so yummy to fall in love with yourself. It's so yummy to fall in love with your body. It's so yummy to cleanse and detox your body and be intentional with just loving myself, that you guys, this light and this energy and this feeling will exude from you. And so if you're somebody and you want to help everybody else, or you want to care for everybody else, I promise you want to build an out of this world organization. You want to create something. You want to create wealth. You want to create systems. You want to put your imagination into creation. The help is number one. And things will you will just start being able to do so much more. The irony in me putting myself first is what puts everybody else first. Like, holy Hannah. And only you will know what that is for you. I will not know. Tanya will not know, right? Growth U team will not know. Nobody will know except you. And that's why getting still. That's why breathing. That's why connecting. That's why that's why taking daily action through these programs, repatterning, reconditioning yourself is so critical. And it's like, we're willing to go to school, go to college, go to work, do all these things. It's like, why on earth wouldn't I do a program that is going to allow me to put myself first and what I want, and to assist me? Like, it's like the time and the amount of effort that it takes to do what you guys are setting up systems for us to do, and your incredible programs. It's like, it's nothing. It's minuscule. It's nada compared to the big picture, but the return on investment, that's one of my favorite words, ROI. Like, what's my ROI for this? What's my IRR or for self-love? Like, what is my return on investment? It's infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite. It's infinite. And it's the only thing that I know that has such a massive infinite return is the self-love. I've never seen any type of infinite return like I do when I focus on my well-being and my clarity with it. So I don't know if that answered the question. I don't know.
You were on fire. I was
okay.
Really zoned into that and really tracking with you. Really inspiring, girl. Really, thank you for gifting us your energy, your heart, your wisdom, your vulnerability. I mean, absolutely one of your, all of those are super strengths of yours. And, I think about everything you just said, and you stressed it and you went really slow, and you're like, your health is your number one priority. And it's like, I really think that's like, some people, you just got to go, well, wait a second, if that's really true. And if I really believe that, or what could that actually look like in my life? That's like the message to leave with is this, if your health and your fitness and your energy is not number one, if your self-care is not number one, then change that right now.
Mm-hmm.
You were
change it. And
listening to this for a reason.
and here's the thing, and the irony, like, right, so like when I went through my whole injury and I was trying to get my health back, right, I was spending all this money, all this time trying to get it back because I let it go. And luck, I mean, very blessed that I had the time and resources to, do whatever it took. But the irony is, it was like when I got still and whenever that did more for me than anything, than flying across country and all that jazz to seek it. And it's like, okay, so yoga every day because I was trying to get it back. Guys, and if you have an area of your life, like you have your help somewhere, or like it's like, don't stop doing the things that helps you get it back, or that becomes like, don't just honor your body when it's working, when it's not working for you. Honor it when it is working for you too. Honor, don't just eat well when I'm trying to, lose some weight or like feel good, my gosh, eat well because like your body is operating well, your body is glowing for you. Like, so just, oh my gosh, your body. There's in a book, it's called The Circle of Fire. It's one of my most absolute favorite books on self-love. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. And he talks about, we treat our dogs and our animals better than we do our body. And even when like we're sick or we're down or we're going through an injury, our body is still doing the very best it can. And it is forever loyal to us. No matter what we do, how we abuse it, how we speak to it, it is doing the best it can. And it is so loyal to us. Show it that same type of reverence and loyalty, with love and appreciation. And catching yourself if you're talking down to your body or you're looking. It's hard these days in social media, especially for women. Oh my gosh, it's hard. I don't want to say it's hard. It's realigning of truly what beauty can be, and this whole concept of what beauty and health should look like based on social media and filters and all these things and lighting and right, like that's not the reality really. So don't get caught up in this big I don't want to say scheme, but in this big notion that it has to look a certain way. Like, go inward with yourself and what's healthy for you, what's beauty for you based on like where you are, and that self-love and everything. You'll be happier. Oh, hello, like that alone is reason enough for me to do something. I'll be happier, like say no more, because happiness, right? Happily achieving versus achieving to be happy. And so you can step into that, and like that's just peaceful. That's just the goodness. That's the feeling good part. So yeah, just honor the temple. Yes.
Chief, so the CFGO, the Chief Fielding Officer. So,
yeah, girl.
Can anybody have these titles?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can. Take the titles, embody it.
Right?
Take them, own them, claim them. They're yours. Anything you want to claim to be is yours, and that becomes your essence, and then whoop, track it all in.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So with that, Casey, no, I just got to say, you look like when I'm looking at you right now, you have all this like lush greenery around you. Like you literally look like the epitome of health. So if people want to continue to be inspired by you and they want to follow you, do they have to come to the jungle or Costa Rica to find you?
No, you don't. This is the next level. If you're able to, for sure you can. Who knows? I might be here in another month. I do only book one-way flights now. It's quite fun. But yeah, so you can absolutely do it, you guys. Anywhere you are, any level you're at, start where you are. You can do it in a shower. In your shower, you can have moments of reverence for starting with health and for breathing. Like, you don't even have to go to a yoga studio. You don't have to do anything to start where you are right now.
Beautiful. So we are going to put all of your information in our show notes so people can follow Casey Plouffe through all of her amazing health and growth journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, guys,
Casey's going to be in the world, and you never know what she's going to be into.
whatever I'm having fun with, whatever I'm feeling called to at that moment.
Yeah. Love it. Casey, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for inspiring our community. Love you, girl. You're amazing.
I love you. Thank you guys for doing what you're doing. And yeah, absolutely. Anybody reach out and keep growing. That's the whole point of life, is growth. So.
Absolutely. All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for catching this episode of the Growth Life Podcast. Join us at growth-u.com. That's growth-u.com.